Let's get right into it. Number 9. Stanley Cups. Remember when water bottles were just water bottles? These days people are literally fighting in Target over Stanley Cups like they are the last bottle of water before the apocalypse. Stanley has been making these cups since 1913. They were not making them for Instagram models or trendy college students. They were making them for construction workers who needed something that would not break when it fell off a scaffold. Imagine being the guy who invented these things, watching from heaven as people camp outside stores at 4 a.m. to buy your thermos. It is like finding out your grandpa's old work boots are suddenly the hottest fashion trend at Milan Fashion Week. These cups used to cost around $20 to $30. Now people are reselling them for hundreds of dollars online. People are paying rent money for a cup that keeps water cold. The exact same cup that was collecting dust on hardware store shelves 5 years ago is now being treated like a limited edition Pokemon card. Some stores have even had to hire extra security just to handle the Stanley Cup crowds. Imagine explaining that to someone from 2019. Yeah, we need 3 security guards for the water bottle aisle. And it is not just any Stanley Cup people want. It has to be specific colors like winter pink or coastal sage, because apparently, regular stainless steel is not good enough anymore. Your water bottle needs to match your aesthetic. There is now a black market for fake Stanley Cups. People are counterfeiting water bottles. Somewhere out there is probably a guy in a dark alley whispering, "Hey kid, wanna buy a Stanley?" Number 8. Carhartt Jackets. Imagine buying a jacket specifically designed to get beaten up at work, only for some influencer to make it so expensive you cannot afford to actually work in it anymore. That is exactly what happened to Carhartt Jackets. Back in 1889, these jackets were made for people who worked hard for a living. They were basically armor for factory workers, farmers, and construction crews. The whole point was to make something tough enough to handle daily abuse, while being cheap enough that workers could actually afford to replace them. Then social media got its hands on Carhartt. TikTokers and Instagram influencers started wearing these work jackets to coffee shops and art galleries. The prices went absolutely insane. Vintage Carhartt jackets that used to cost $30 are now selling for hundreds of dollars online. Some rare pieces go for over $500. The jacket designed for people who work with their hands now costs more than what many of those workers make in a week. People are now buying these jackets and keeping them pristine. Imagine buying a hammer and being afraid to hit nails with it. Workers who actually need these jackets for their intended purpose are getting priced out of buying them. The funniest part is the more beaten up and worn a vintage Carhartt jacket looks, the more expensive it can be. The wear and tear that comes from actual work makes these jackets more valuable to people who have never worked a day in their lives. Number 7. Tinned fish. Tinned fish used to be that sad can of tuna in the back of your pantry. Now it is the star of sea-cutery boards on TikTok. People are spending $45 on fancy sardines in Instagram-worthy packaging. These are not your regular $1 sardines. We are talking hand-caught fish from Portugal, packed in organic olive oil. Some of these tins are so pretty, people keep them as decoration after eating the fish. It started with a TikTok trend called tinned fish date night. Couples buy fancy tinned fish, crackers, and cheese, then have a sophisticated European evening. Some of these tins cost more per ounce than a good steak. The same people who would not touch canned tuna are now posting artisanal anchovy tastings on Instagram. The tins look like they were designed by Wes Anderson. Pastel colors, vintage fonts, little illustrations of boats. Some people even collect these tins like Pokemon cards. The market has exploded so much that traditional fisheries are hiring graphic designers to make their cans social media friendly. Fourth-generation fishermen now worry about whether their sardine tins will get enough likes on Instagram. Number 6. The Pink Princess Philodendron. The Pink Princess Philodendron used to be just another pretty plant. But then social media got its hands on it, and suddenly the internet went into a frenzy. In 2019, you could get a cutting of this plant for about $20. By 2020, people were paying up to $1,000 for a single leaf. $1,000 for something that might die if you look at it wrong. This plant is not even naturally pink. It is actually a mutation. Like the X-Men of the plant world, the pink parts are basically plant albinism, and these plants can revert back to their original color at any time. You could drop $1,000 on a pink plant only to wake up one day and find it has turned completely green. That is like buying a Gucci bag and having it turn into a paper sack overnight. Growing these things is a nightmare. Those beautiful pink sections cannot photosynthesize. That means they are basically useless to the plant. It is like having an employee who shows up to work looking fabulous, but does not actually do anything. Before Instagram, nobody cared. This plant was just chilling in greenhouses, doing its thing. Then some influencer probably posted a photo, and suddenly everyone needed one for their plant aesthetic. Now there are waiting lists, bidding wars, and probably some shady back alley plant deals going down. They are actually pretty easy to mass produce through tissue culture. But nurseries keep the supply low, because why sell something cheap when people will pay premium prices? It is like artificial diamond scarcity, but with leaves. Number 5. Birkenstock Boston Clogs. Imagine paying $400 for what is basically your grandpa's gardening shoes. That is exactly what is happening with Birkenstock Boston Clogs right now. These shoes used to be the unofficial uniform of college professors who gave up on life. The kind of guy who has a collection of moth-eaten sweaters and thinks showering daily is optional. Then TikTok discovered them, and suddenly the internet went into a frenzy. These clogs went from being a sign you have given up on dating to being a sign you are too cool to date overnight. The funny thing is, Birkenstock did not change anything about the shoes. They are still the same ugly, comfortable clogs they have always been. Before social media, you could walk into any store and grab a pair for about $160. Now good luck finding them for less than $275 retail. And if you are desperate enough to check resale sites, hope you have got a kidney to spare. Some people are selling used pairs for $400, used shoes that someone's feet have been sweating in. Someone's foot sweat apparently adds value now. The irony is that these were designed by German orthopedic doctors in the 1960s. They were not thinking about Instagram aesthetics. They were thinking about bunions and arch support. But here we are, with people setting up TikTok notifications for restocks like they are trying to score Taylor Swift tickets. There are literally Reddit communities dedicated to tracking Birkenstock Boston inventory. Imagine explaining that to someone from 2010. We are all obsessing over those ugly cork sandals your art teacher wears. Number 4. Vintage Pyrex. Your grandma's old casserole dish might be worth more than your car. Back in the day, Pyrex was everywhere. It was the Nokia 3310 of kitchenware, practically indestructible and in every home. But then social media discovered it, and everyone lost their minds. Now, these dishes that used to cost a few bucks at yard sales are selling for thousands. There is this one pattern called Lucky in Love. It has got some hearts and clovers on it. One of these bowls sold for $27,000. Someone paid the price of a new car for something their grandma probably used to store leftover meatloaf. The old Pyrex was made differently than the new stuff. They used something called borosilicate glass, a space-age material that could handle extreme temperature changes. Modern Pyrex cannot handle that. Drop an ice cube in a hot modern Pyrex dish, and you might end up with a kitchen full of glass confetti. So these vintage pieces are not just pretty, they are actually better. Social media influencers are like the Pyrex paparazzi. There are entire accounts dedicated to hunting down rare patterns. They have got names for different collections like Butterprint and Pink Daisy. It is like Pokemon Go for middle-aged women with disposable income. People are literally dumpster diving behind thrift stores hoping to strike Pyrex gold. Some folks are making a living just by flipping old Pyrex. They will find a rare piece at a garage sale for $5, post it on Instagram, and sell it for hundreds. It is like the Wolf of Wall Street, but with vintage kitchenware. Number 3. Birria Tacos. 10 years ago, if you mentioned Birria Tacos to someone, they would probably think you were having a stroke. But now these bad boys are everywhere, and they are not cheap anymore either. Birria started as a simple goat stew in Jalisco, Mexico. It was literally poor people food. But goat meat tastes like you're chewing on your grandfather's leather belt, so they came up with this genius marinade of chilies and spices to make it edible. Fast forward to 2019, and suddenly everyone is filming themselves dipping these tacos in red soup. The videos went viral faster than your aunt's chain messages. Birria tacos went from being a humble Mexican dish to the supreme clothing of the food world. Before social media got its hands on birria, you could get these tacos for like $2 each. These days you are looking at $7 to $8 per taco in some places. That is a 300% increase just because people wanted to film themselves doing the dip. Traditional birria was made with goat meat, but that is too gamey for TikTok. So now everyone uses beef because it looks better on camera. It is like putting an Instagram filter on your food in real life. So next time you are paying $24 for 3 tacos and some soup, remember you are not just paying for the food. You are paying for the privilege of making that TikTok video where you dip the taco in slow motion. Number 2. Squishmallows. Remember when these round, squishy plushies were just cute toys you would grab at Walgreens for $10? Those days are long gone. These soft little guys have turned into the Bitcoin of the stuffed animal world. It all started in 2017 when Kelly Toys launched Squishmallows as simple comfort items. Just cute, round animals that looked like they had been put through a cartoon filter. But then TikTok discovered them, and the game was flipped upside down. Suddenly everyone and their grandmother was part of the Squish Squad, hunting these things like they were made of gold. People started posting squish hunting videos, turning regular trips to Target into full-blown adventures. You would see people camping outside stores at 5 a.m. just to get their hands on a limited edition cow with sparkly eyes. Some rare Squishmallows now sell for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. The whole thing has created this weird underground economy. You have got people hiring squish hunters to track down rare ones. There are actual Squishmallow scalpers now. The craziest part is, there are now guides on how to spot fake Squishmallows. We are living in a world where people are counterfeiting plush toys. It is like the black market decided to get cuddly. The drama in Squishmallow collecting groups is insane. People will literally start virtual riots over who got to a store first. All this over stuffed animals that look like someone sat on a bunch of cartoon characters. Number 1. Custom mechanical keyboards. Imagine spending $1,000 on a keyboard. Not some fancy gaming keyboard that makes coffee and walks your dog. Just a regular keyboard that types letters. Sounds crazy. People spend more on their typing setup than most folks spend on their entire computer. Mechanical keyboards were just tools. What computer nerds used when they wanted something that would not break after a million keystrokes. But then social media discovered the thock. The thock is that satisfying sound when you press a key. It is like bubble wrap for your ears. And once ASMR creators got their hands on these keyboards, things went nuts. Suddenly, everyone wanted that perfect thock sound in their typing videos. It's like how car enthusiasts tune their engines for the perfect rumble, except these keyboard enthusiasts are tuning their switches for the perfect click. People started lubing their switches. Yes, that is a thing. Imagine spending your Saturday night putting tiny amounts of lube on hundreds of little plastic pieces. It is like giving a manicure to an ant colony. Some rare keycap sets are selling for more than a used car. People treating these pieces of plastic like they are limited edition Pokemon cards. Some of these keyboards do not even have all the keys. They are called 40% keyboards, and they are missing like half the alphabet. It is like buying a car without a steering wheel because it looks cooler that way. Before social media, you could get a custom mechanical keyboard for maybe $100 to $200. Now the sky is the limit. There are keyboards out there that cost more than a used motorcycle. It has gotten so bad that some keyboard parts are being scalped like concert tickets. Imagine refreshing a website at 3 a.m., hoping to buy a piece of plastic that makes your letter A sound slightly different. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.